What is going on, ladies and gentlemen? Today we are going to figure out who the strongest Saiyan is currently in the Dragon Ball fandom. Well, I should be saying I'm here to fact check another person, try to figure that out. And without further ado, I'm not going to interrupt it any further. Let's get into the video.
The Saiyans have ascended to a new level of power we have never seen before. Not only have all of them achieved unique transformations, but the question regarding who's
Is that Super Saiyan 3 Kefla? I ain't gonna lie, I'd be down for that.
the strongest amongst them all has been blown wide open. No longer is Goku the solution to all things, as even recently, Vegeta defeated him in a spar. Did
So here's the funny thing, right? If you would have told me this a long time ago, who first turned Super Saiyan and literally took a massive, massive leap ahead of everyone and anyone, I'd have said, nope, that's not even possible. He's a Super Saiyan now, and no one else is even close to that. But he do be right. Everybody has their strengths in their own right as far as what their abilities give them as because like if you look at the different levels of power, right? You have Goku, who is insanely agile. His power relies on stamina. You have Vegeta. His power relies on constitution. Is it constitution? It's like durability or something like that. Um, there was one video that I saw of somebody trying to explain Ultra Ego and said his health mattered, which it does, but that's not what is going to give him power. What's going to give him power is the fact that he's insanely, insanely durable, and that is what is going to push him to the level that he needs to be at in order to still receive some damage, but nothing like he did in the Granola arc where he took way too much damage way too many times, and it kind of mitigated the amount that he could have gotten out of that. So it's essentially about using your head to like know that okay, I'm probably gonna take some damage here, but that's okay, type shit. Um, Broly is just a fucking crash out, plain and simple. Gohan, pretty similar. His crashing out though, um, has not happened yet. He, as he kind of explains in the manga, spoilers by the way, uh, he brings himself to right to the point to where he's about to lose it. So he always has that in the back of his mind to where he can just let it all go and just go fucking berserk. And that's an interesting problem in why I think there's a lot of cool dynamics that are going to come between Broly and Gohan because they're dealing with the same issue with completely different powers. For Gohan, it's a combination of divinity, it's a combination of human, human side and a Saiyan side. So that's three things melding in like a little melding pot for Gohan. Whereas um, Broly's just kind of like the super insane Saiyan that has somehow become the legend that everybody, everybody was talking about in myth. And while we always consider Goku to be the one to achieve said legend, Broly is that legend. So, yeah, I think it's quite interesting.
you know that Ultra Ego is a godly technique that Beerus himself perfected? And that's the path the Prince of All Saiyans has taken to achieve the title of Strongest. However, that's only the beginning of everything that I'm about to reveal, as we discover all power-ups and who is currently the #1 strongest Saiyan in all universes.
I don't know if Ultra Ego is something that Beerus perfected because it's clearly a power that Vegeta has in the manga to be a power all of his own. I do think that Beerus probably has some sort of relative ability to that. Um, but he definitely clearly from what I know, Beerus did not teach him anything when it comes to the power up Vegeta currently has. He only taught him the ability of destruction.
Recently, Dragon Ball Super re-established Saiyan pride and considers it important to gain power. This is
Yep.
because a Saiyan's identity is important to unlocking the strength of their mind. As Vegeta claimed, their bodies are starting to reach their limits, and to reach
True.
higher levels like opponents that were stronger than them in the past, like Jiren for example, it was their ability to not waste ki. And let's not forget, this was even foreshadowed in the anime.
His energy is skyrocketing. Now he's even stronger than when he was driving back Jiren a minute ago.
Jiren may have thought that critique would embarrass Vegeta, but all it actually did was remind him of his pride and awaken even more power.
So to understand the storytelling,
Yeah,
let's dive
pretty
into
accurate.
the past. Previously, the Saiyans were led by King Vegeta, where they lost their home planet Salada in a civil war. They
He just say salad? Sadala, bro. Sadala, not salada. I'm just gonna call it enchilada from now on. Fuck it. Fuck it. We're gonna crash out.
They then took over planet Vegeta, which ended up in the hands of King Cold and Frieza. According to the writers of Dragon Ball, at this point of time, the Saiyans lost their original pride as a warrior race. I mean, look at King Vegeta. The man was bowing down under Frieza's feet, kissing his ass, giving up his throne instantly, and even sold his son, making him a slave. What? However, Bardock stepped in and said, nah, I'd win, and faced Frieza only to be...
Still crazy that he was the only one to even try. Like the entire planet was just like, whatever. Bunch of fucking
But Bardock's actions are crucial because he was the only pure Saiyan amongst everyone and changed
You're saying? I gotta fact check you again. Buddy killed a lot of people. He wasn't pure at all. He is constantly renowned as a genius in many aspects, and they kept that to his character throughout the manga and the anime. But pure of heart is not one of them. The only person who is pure of heart is Goku, and that's because he smashed his fucking head in the bottom of a ravine. That's it. Other than that, there ain't nobody else. That's literally where it ends.
the fate of the race by sending Goku off to
I think righteous is the word he's probably looking for. He did become righteous at one point, but for the most part, yeah, no, pure not in the equation.
survive. He even made a wish for his sons to thrive. As a result, Goku
You dad
realized
shit.
who he is in the granola
You should teach his son how to be a fucking dad too. We can wish him back for a year. Just give him like how to be a good dad training.
arc from his father and restored Saiyan pride
Fatherhood
in the
arc.
duo, which increased their strength even further. On the other hand, the Universe 6 Saiyans did not share the same fate as their Universe 7 counterparts, as they used their powers not for evil, but to help people in need.
Now this is where you could argue, okay, the Universe 6 Saiyans are probably pure of heart from the start, and then they can be corrupted from there, I suppose. But yeah, I would argue that more than I would argue Bardock being pure of heart for sure.
So because of their good karma, they not only survived, but thrived, and even formed a Sadala Defense Force, which is now the mightiest army in that entire universe. Universe 6 Saiyans live in a relatively peaceful world. They are not cold-hearted or individualistic like Universe 7 Saiyans. We've
Right.
even seen how emotional Kaba got when Vegeta insulted his people.
Yeah, it's just the dynamic versus good and evil. It's the yin and yang sort of situation.
Therefore, these guys had more time for training and gathering S cells that can spark the Super Saiyan transformation way easier. Yup, the bargain sale continues. But let's be real, I know we were all pissed when we saw that shit go down in the anime. The full potential of each of these Saiyans will
I really wasn't. I pretty much knew like as the anime was going, they were gonna have to be Super Saiyans in order to be relevant. and so I wasn't really mad at it. I do feel like it could have been handled better though. They could have put him in a better situation to bring that out of him. Like obviously, Cabba's was pretty like set in stone. I mean, you get to train with the prince of all fucking Saiyans. Obviously, you're gonna become a Super Saiyan. But as far as like Caulifla and Kale goes, that yeah, that was definitely unique.
Arise by making them grow through different routes in line with their identities. Goku is naturally calm and collected, who loves to fight but doesn't kill for pleasure. So a technique like Ultra Instinct would suit him more than Ultra Ego, a technique tailor-made for someone like Vegeta who doesn't mind killing. Gohan and Broly in
I don't think that has anything to do with it. I think it comes down to individual fighting styles more than anything else. Vegeta is always he's not really one to care to move out of the way, especially with his ego and pride in place as it is. It's something that he will never give up. So essentially, it just takes his ego and his pride and it turns it to strength. Whereas Goku has let go of his pride a long time ago. He's a very humble individual, very peaceful individual. Um, so his ability backing off of that, giving him even more speed, even more agility, even more of an ability to simply just be untouchable, rather than Vegeta's is all about absorbing damage and turning it into strength type shit. It's not really to do with that. It's pretty much how the powers work.
encompass the Saiyans' ability to spike their power through rage, and they would do anything to protect their loved ones. Hence, they got beast mode,
So Gohan's is definitely derived from emotion. It's the combination of, you have a enhancement, you have because that's how he becomes Ultimate Gohan, is you have the potential unleashed. It's a divine ritual that is given to him in the Buu arc, and that's why he becomes what he is. And then on top of that, you have the Saiyans who derive power from emotion, but theirs is more so self-serving emotion for the most part. And then you have the Earthling side, which is 100% just pure fucking um, pure raw emotion. Every time that we've seen a human do anything spectacular, it's been out of a necessity of emotion absolutely exploding, which is why Gohan gets such like a crazy boost every time he goes into this fit of rage, because one, the rage is boosting his power as a Saiyan, and then as he's fighting, he's getting even more powerful. And that connection with his human emotion side will amplify that times 10. So it makes it super easy for Gohan to just kind of come out of nowhere with this unbelievable strength we've seen time and time again. Broly, on the other hand, he's kind of what happens when you get this overwhelming power, but you're not really, it's not like something that you pull out of yourself. It's already there. And you have to do the opposite, and you have to figure out how to control and manifest said power without losing who you are.
and Super Saiyan control. All of this is crucial in their inevitable showdown against Black Frieza, as
That is a good theory. I like that theory. It's like the final what if fought Frieza type shit. Yeah,
he holds the title of strongest mortal in the universe. With that said,
sort of.
let's start with the weakest of them all. The Saiyans of Universe 6, in theory, they can surpass their Universe 7 counterparts. But let's be honest, I'm gonna say again, if that were to happen, I think the fanbase would erupt.
I don't think that will happen. Um, Simply because they're too underdeveloped compared to the Universe 7 Saiyans, who are constantly striving to be more improved and better than they were the day before. The Universe 6 Saiyans aren't really like that. They're focused more so on um I don't want to say a job, but I mean they kind of are. I mean, as mercenaries, it's kind of their whole life is just a 9 to 5, where like the Saiyans from our universe have completely thrown that out the wind, and they're the Saiyans chasing dreams type shit. So it's a difference of ambition, really.
chaos. Given how bad the power scaling became in the anime, I'm not going to use its continuity, but rather the manga canon as it makes things much more clear. For example, in the anime, Caulifla could keep up with Goku in his Super Saiyan 2, 3, the God forms, and even Ultra Instinct Sign with Kefla, but the manga version made the fusion on par with Gohan or Super Saiyan Blue Goku. During the Tournament of Power, Caulifla found herself in a fierce face-off against Frieza in his original form. At this point, Frieza is way stronger than what we see in Namek. His training for 4 months, as well as that mental training in Hell, pushed his power to rival Blue with his golden form. Frieza thought he knew what to expect with Super Saiyan Caulifla, but one strike to the face and a surprise attack later, it left him staggering, bruh. Her point-blank blast was so intense that it not only caught the attention of Goku, 17, Pop, and Super Saiyan Blue Vegeta, but it also ripped apart a massive chunk of the arena's edge. It only managed to give Frieza a slight bruise, but that same blast also made Golden Frieza nervous and forced him to strain a bigger explosion wave in order.
I'm not surprised about this, simply because there is plenty of examples where a Saiyan way above its weight class. Gohan has done this in his rage. Vegeta has done this while not enraged. He just simply he did this shit to Jiren, put him on his ass. We're talking about a Universe 7 Spirit Bomb with a Super Saiyan Blue times 20 Kaioken Goku pushing it at Jiren at his absolute full power. And Jiren pushed it back with his eyeballs. Vegeta pulls up in just Super Saiyan Blue and does the same fucking thing with the final flash, but Jiren can not only not hold it with his eyes, but he is forced to block it and it still plants him on his ass. So that just goes to show you the absolute difference between some Saiyans that have absolute insane strength versus other Saiyans that just they don't really got it. I mean, they got the technique, but they don't have the strength behind it. So that has always been something that has been in Vegeta's favor as far as like his potency with how heavy of a damage he can deal. And he's done it several times with like almost no energy. He did that shit to fucking super perfect cell for fuck's sake, where it was like his final shot that literally distracted Cell enough in order to get Gohan to fucking. We're talking about a massively weaker Vegeta that managed to do enough damage and distract Cell in order for Gohan to deal the final finishing blow and take Supercell out for good. That shit's crazy.
To cancel it out. Despite Caulifla's
So
Super
I am
Saiyan
not
prowess,
surprised.
she still faced an uphill battle against the Emperor, who dismissed her as not even being worthy of playing with building blocks. Nevertheless, Frieza did not want to unveil his golden form so soon, but Caulifla's strength and Saiyan origins kinda forced him to transform. That itself is a huge deal, considering how much Goku and the others struggled against Frieza both times. And the thing is, she doesn't even need further transformations to get stronger. If Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta can surpass Super Saiyan 3 Goku after Beerus slapped Bulma, then Caulifla can do.
It's a temporary rage boost. It wasn't anything. So because Vegeta only has the Saiyan biology, he can't get a continuous boost off of something like that. That's purely a Gohan thing. Thanks to Gohan's human side, when he gets a rage boost like that, his power level doesn't come back down. It just elevates. and then it'll probably come down a little bit, but it won't go all the way back to where it was. Um, which is something that we don't see right away, because if you guys remember against Raditz, Gohan's power level dropped all the way way back down to like 3. But it does, as Gohan matured and got better as a fighter, it stopped going down as much, and we start seeing Gohan keeping up with people that he generally wouldn't be able to. But, then he just fucking disappears and gets weaker than a goddamn shit. And I really hope we're done with that. I really hope we're done with weak Gohan, especially after Beast Gohan. It would make no fucking sense for him to go sit on the bench again and become tracksuit Gohan, okay?
The same with just Super Saiyan. She is strong enough to hold Dispo in a full Nelson which he cannot break out of. And manga Dispo is actually faster than Super Saiyan.
Yeah, but faster isn't strength. So you got to keep in mind, Goku put Raditz in a full Nelson, and Goku is astronomically weaker than Raditz
And Goku, who was already this
and
fast in his
slower.
fight against Perfect Cell. So much so that none of the Dragon team could keep up with them except Gohan. This brings me to her partner Kale, pretty much the female version of Broly. As noted by Toriyama, she's a character created by Toei Animation staff in response to the immense popularity of Broly not only in Japan but overseas. This was further confirmed by Dragon Ball Super episode 100 where it refers to Kale as turning into Broly. Basically, this is Toei's attempt to make those sweet money by milking Broly's name. Kale is kinda like Gohan, doesn't like to fight, is too attached to their partner, and has a lot of untapped potential. During the Tournament of Power, Kale erupts into a Super Saiyan with green hair in order to save Caulifla. In the manga, she doesn't control her form unlike her anime counterpart, but she seems to be even stronger here. According to Kaba, Kale might be the return of the legendary demonic Saiyan. Demoniac? How do I pronounce this shit? Who only makes an
Demonic.
appearance once every 1,000 years. They quickly destroy themselves once they emerge due to their immense power.
So that's an interesting parallel because in Universe 7, our universe, the the Saiyan referred to as Broly is looked upon as the legendary Super Saiyan. Whereas the Universe 6 one, they look at that Saiyan, same exact Saiyan, they look at that Saiyan as a demon. They look at it as objectively evil. And at face value, you're right, because whoever it is can't control it. So when they lose it, it doesn't matter who's around. And we see this in the Tournament of Power when Caulifla tries to kind of rein her in. There's several times where Kale was almost about to try to kill Caulifla. They don't care. They're just going berserk. They're a crash out. That's it.
Argus likewise used this precise wording when characterizing Broly's abilities. Kale demolished the remaining combatants from Universe 2, 3, 4, and 10. Tossed powerful monsters like Vegeta and
I also think the manga one is more interesting because she doesn't bulk up like she does in the anime. They made her look really fucking ugly. I ain't even gonna lie. I'm gonna keep it a buck. That bitch was ugly. Ugh. And grotesque. Yuck. Ew. Now they fixed it later on when she kind of reined it in, but this manga version looks so much.
Agnilasa out of the ring. And I definitely mispronounced those words. Please forgive me. I'm kind of sick right now, and I ain't gonna bother to touch that shit.
Green tea and honey, my friend. Get you some of that matcha. Get you some of that matcha with some honey. It'll clear that right up.
And toss powerful monsters like Vegeta and Anglin Lassa. can't pronounce these for the life of me, but you guys get the point. Then, she nearly knocked Toppo and Vegeta out of the match. However, she had one crucial weakness that made Vegeta state she wasn't even worth his time. He keenly observes Kale's explosive surges of power, initially catching opponents off guard. However, upon a closer look, her techniques become predictable due to her lack of control over her immense power, causing her to hit her limits faster than Broly. In a surprising turn
True.
of events, 5 of Universe 11's weaker members managed to knock her down. This lack of challenge prompts Vegeta to move on and engage in battle with Toppo instead. But don't underestimate Kale's might. Even Golden Frieza finds himself overwhelmed by her ferocity, caught off guard and
See, this is why I like the manga way better because they got her proportions way better. Because in the anime, super disgustingly bulky. She's like a man's. They basically gave her like a fucking big buff man body, and then they just threw tits on her. Yeah, and then that's it. Like it was fucking. It was like, ugh, I don't want to look at that. But if you showed me this, and you said this was Kale in her fucking crash out form, hell yeah, all day.
underestimating her
I'll watch
capabilities.
that any day.
Sure, Frieza did say he did not take her seriously, but as he fought cautiously to conserve energy, he still fell victim to Kale's rapid assaults. Her power level spikes unpredictably left both Goku and Frieza unable to accurately
damn.
gauge her strength.
is what
However,
I'm
as
talking about.
Vegeta observes, this overwhelming
God damn, they gave her a Hercules body and then just fucking like Hercules from like God of War Hercules and fucking slap some. It's disgusting.
display is but a fleeting moment,
Look
destined
at
to
that,
fade as
gross,
swiftly
man.
as it appeared.
Ha! Your
Ill
power
character
level is
design,
pathetic
bro.
compared to mine.
Speaking of pathetic, there's Kaba. He's weaker than both of them. He wasn't so useful in the manga, unlike his anime counterpart. He was able to take Toppo's Justice Punch in his base form, and even turn Super Saiyan 2 to take out this chick from Universe 4, but that's about it. Based on the storytelling, Goku informed Caulifla about Super Saiyan 3 and would reach it having a better multiplier than him. Kale would control her emotions and reach Super Saiyan Blue Goku when he fought in the Tournament of Power, basically being on par with Super Saiyan Broly in the movie. But for now, they're nowhere near the levels of what the Big Four have achieved.
My problem with Kaba is that because he comes from such a different Vegeta, he's never going to get the same level of strength through the same way that Vegeta has. Um, I would almost argue that Goku would have been a better teacher for Kaba, and Vegeta would have been a better teacher for Caulifla. Because Caulifla, she's clearly a bandit. She clearly comes from kind of an outcast sort of life. So there's a little bit of darkness and a little bit more I don't know what you would call it, edginess to her than there is to Kaba. So I would definitely flip those roles, or like in hindsight, I would have flipped those roles. Like obviously now you can't undo it because it's already been done. But yeah, I just find it. I would have found that a bit more interesting.
In the recent arcs, bringing me to Goten, who is the next strongest Saiyan. He trained with Gohan for the World Martial Arts Tournament. Goten and Trunks individually were as powerful as Frieza at the age of 9 and 10. They faced two foes who rivaled the Galactic Emperor and defeated them after a little pep talk from Gohan and Piccolo before fusing. During the superhero
Yeah, but what you used in that clip was just non-canon material. Um, so that would be my problem with that. Uh, my other thing here is that the potency of a Super Saiyan and the potency of their base levels are not going to match with other people. So like we see it when uh Vegeta is training Kaba that he clearly states that they are of the same level, and he even managed to put Vegeta on the back foot slightly. But I can't say the same for Trunks, and in fact, we see this in where Kid Trunks got his little he got his trip to the fucking theme park or whatever because he was training with Vegeta, and Vegeta kind of challenged him as a Super Saiyan versus another Super Saiyan to try to land a hit on him, and he essentially was hardly moving, and still managed to get a punch in at the end of the day. But uh, the potency of his attacks were like nothing. And then we see a Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks trying to match up with a Super Buu that it was not even relative, not even close. Because Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks had like no it did hardly anything that entire time. And even so much so that fucking Super Buu went to sleep at one point because he couldn't get any other entertainment out of those two. So the potency difference is definitely a factor.
Off. We see them taking down a Dino android whilst being Super Saiyan, which was stated to be more powerful than any android before, including 17 and 18. Even Cell Max took a serious blow following the tornado attack the two unleashed. If Gohan is potentially greater than Goku and Vegeta, then Goten and Trunks have, in theory, the same growth potential. And that is because they're hybrids. Daizenshu 4 describes half Saiyans as having an outstanding battle sense, but not having a fondness for fighting like a pure Saiyan. We've seen Gohan state in the Cell games that he hates to fight, but his innate power erupts after seeing a person he loves cry in pain.
So the only difference here that I would say is that Gohan has always wanted to be a scholar, even from like day one. And I mean, partial Chi-Chi always drilled it in his head, but at the same time, he was never truly a fighter. Whereas Trunks and Goten are the opposite. Goten is much more like Goku. He would rather be out and about, adventure, fighting, all that stuff. And the biggest argument for this is the fact that Goten and Trunks decided to be superheroes rather than scholars. Because if they didn't want to fight, they could have easily gone down the same route as Gohan. But they clearly do enjoy fighting, otherwise, they wouldn't be running around as vigilantes.
According to Toriyama, the power that makes a Saiyan super is due to their S cells, which ironically is generated in high amounts through emotional triggers. Unlike Saiyans, humans are naturally emotional beings, capable of deep love and attachment. When they lose something important to them, their fury erupts like a volcano, releasing massive reserves of a power deep within. Basically, this gives Gohan, Trunks, and Goten a freaking cheat code. What's more, the Saiyan duo were born without tails, which means they were already stronger than a great ape capable of destroying a planet. That's why Gohan remarks in the Buu saga that they can easily surpass him if he doesn't keep training. The boys have been ramping up experience right at an early age that even Goku didn't have the luxury of, from fighting galaxy level fighters like Majin Buu.
I don't know how much of this is true because a majority of Goten and Trunks is majority of their upbringing is the fact that they've lived very cushy lives where Gohan was brought up in war. It's the same scenario as a Naruto versus a Boruto. Boruto is been brought up in a very privileged, easy life comparatively to Naruto. It's the same deal here. Gohan was brought up in war. These two are brought up in this nice, cushy, easy life. And occasionally they do get into these squabbles where they end up fighting somebody. But for the most part, they're just fucking chilling. So the emotional drive is not gonna be there the same way that it would be for a Gohan.
To universal threats like Beerus and even sparring with the Cell Juniors individually, whom even Super Saiyan Grade 2 Vegeta struggled to kill. Then finally, Toriyama fulfilled our dreams of making them grow up in the superhero arc, where they train to follow in Gohan's footsteps and become his successors in the Saiyaman lineage. Goten and Trunks got even stronger by training intensely for months before fighting Gohan in a sparring match. They were fast enough to give trouble to Gohan in his Super Saiyan form, but once he turned Ultimate, it was over swiftly. But given the fact that Gohan got even stronger at this point of time in the story,
See, the thing is here, now we're talking about Goten and Trunks together. If we're talking about who is truly the strongest Saiyan, measured separately. But right now they're both just kind of playing lackey for each other. So until they really start branching out and finding their own path to power is when you'll truly see where the potential lies.
due to training with Piccolo after defeating Cell Max, before unlocking Beast, a much weaker Ultimate form matched up to Gamma 1 and 2. This is where we start to see why it's impressive Goten and Trunks could almost keep up, as the Gamma was stated by Piccolo to be close to Goku and Vegeta's power. So given the storytelling, with these two always being together in every fight, in chapter 103, if they did not fail their fusion, they would give Ultimate Gohan and their father's blue forms a good challenge. Like, if Kefla's fusion in the manga was equal to Ultimate Gohan, whom was way weaker back then than he is now, claiming Gotenks SSJ-3 at this point isn't matching Super Saiyan God levels of power, it's disrespectful. We even see them spar Broly.
I think the way that they wrote Kefla in the because like one thing I'll say is like the manga is 150,000 better when it comes to how the story is told, but the anime is also 1,000% better on how moments are told. Is how I kind of I I bridge the gap, I guess you could say. So I do like the Kefla manga version better because giving her such immense strength right off the rip was a terrible design choice by Toei for the anime because it puts her up on a pedestal that she wasn't meant to be on. So I do like how they wrote her in the manga as being on a Gohan level.
In his controlled Super Saiyan form later, which gives us the impression that they could. For example, let's look at the events in Dragon Ball Z, just to understand how far they have come to match the other Saiyans. Boo was immediately concerned when they went Super Saiyan 3 in Fusion. This is a version of Boo Goku was sure he'd die fighting against even with his Super Saiyan 3. And a certain guidebook stated that SSJ-3 Gotenks would be enough to keep Kid Boo busy. Trunks ranks above Goten because
So this is where the inconsistencies are going to come in. Oh, and he got this on here too. This is where the inconsistencies are going to come in because in the anime, they really, really downplayed Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. I mean, really downplayed it. So I don't quite know where the balance would lie because I haven't read the Dragon Ball Z manga. I never have.
he claimed back in the Boo saga that he's a bit older than Goten, so naturally he's stronger. And he doesn't lie, because he won the junior division fair and square, much to Vegeta's excitement. In the end, even though they know how to fuse now, we don't get to see it, but their fat version got to break Cell Max's head, so they're at least more useful than Krillin and Yamcha, you know what I'm saying? There is a version of a certain someone who is way stronger than both of them combined, and that is none other than Future Trunks. He's easily a fan favorite
Super Saiyan Rage is the absolute most trash fucking form of all time.
character and very popular among female
Even more so than False Super Saiyan, don't at me.
fans. Heck, even his own mother from the present couldn't contain herself.
I'll be your mommy.
His first appearance in the story, taking out Frieza with his sword, and then his father with a mere ki blast, is one of anime's most iconic character appearances ever. Bro, bruh, Toriyama managed to make a guy in sweatpants, leather shoes, and a bowl cut be the most strippiest character in the entire series. Future Trunks
Fair.
was as strong as Goku after Yard Rat, but his real strength came after his training with Vegeta in the hyperbolic time chamber for an entire year. Safe to say, it wasn't really hunky-dory for the young lad. Nevertheless, he got a lot stronger than the androids that killed his future, but got whooped by Perfect Cell, once before the Cell Games and the other towards its end. But the training laid the foundation for more progress, such as preventing Boo from hatching in his timeline by killing Dabura and Babidi, keeping up with Goku Black, and managing to stay alive. During his version of the Boo saga, he was the apprentice to the Supreme Kai and even pulled out the Z Sword. It's been 10 years since the Cell Games, and Trunks has trained himself to death since. An excessive use of the Zenkai boost made his numbers go really high, as it helped him not only get healing powers that restored Goku and Vegeta enough to unleash their blue forms, but
So this is a incorrect statement. It should be stated that it is due to his stated in the anime, or not the anime. Where was it? I saw it stated somewhere. No, it's stated in the arc. I don't know. I'll have to fact check it, but I'm almost 100% sure that it was stated that his apprentice powers as somebody who undergone the whatever the fucking shit Shin put him through to become a Kai's apprentice or whatever, that's where the powers come in. Oh no, it is in the manga. I remember it. I remember it now. It is in the manga because he had the ability to heal people, and that was only because of his rights as uh of becoming a Kai's apprentice. And he essentially was going to heal Vegeta, but Vegeta's like, nah, go heal Goku.
he also transformed into a Super Saiyan 2 that rivaled Goku's Super Saiyan 3. Now, in the anime version of the
I was gonna say this is displayed very differently in the anime. But I do know the manga handles it differently. But in the anime, he basically just gets one
Zamasu arc, Future Trunks gained a bizarre new power called Super Saiyan Rage that surpassed even Blue, and then got some weird-ass spirit sword by borrowing the key from others to split
The carnival music is fucking perfect. It was an absolute clown show.
fuse Zamasu in half. Bruh, the power scaling in the anime, some might call it bullshit. On the other hand, in the manga, Trunks was able to help Goku and Vegeta by saving their lives, surviving Goku Black's onslaught until they came back and split Goku Black and Zamasu in two.
Yeah, the manga handles this 110% better. This entire arc, actually. The Zamasu in this arc, shit, it's not even close.
Practically killing them in their most vulnerable states. This makes a lot of sense, considering Goku and Vegeta did most of the fighting, and Trunks is there as a supporting agent. Unfortunately for him, Zeno showed up and destroyed his entire timeline,
Wiped
along
it,
with the
gave him
infinite
that factory
Zamasu.
reset.
So, he decided to go to a
Ugh, super DB, dude. The fucking right down there. Look at that fucking supreme fucking.
another timeline before Zamasu and Dabura showed up. That way, at least Bulma would
That
be
designer
alive.
clothes.
Plus, he would have that timeline's Trunks to train with. Since he is a Saiyan with human blood, he too can be potentially strong as his former master. Goku knew this and thought about making future Trunks participate in the Tournament of Power, if only he stayed back. But would future Trunks be as strong as Goku and Vegeta if he did? I believe so, considering they had to face guys like Broly, Moro, Granola, and Gas. He would surely be a great help in the epic showdown against Black Frieza. And when he left in the anime, he did say, "Until we meet again." However, there's another character whose story has just begun. Broly. Along Goku and Bardock, Broly is described as a pure Saiyan with a gentle heart, and that's a huge positive aspect of the Saiyan gene pool. He's literally
Yerp.
confirmed to have the greatest stamina out of everyone, surpassing Gohan, Vegeta, and Goku. But I'll explain
Stated to have the greatest stamina out of everybody? I'll have to double check that. I don't remember
in a
that.
moment why he's placed here. In the start, the dude's power level when he was born was around 920. The Broly light novel mentions that Prince Vegeta broke all records in Saiyan history by having
Yep.
the highest power level as a baby. Then Broly comes along and smashes it by a wide margin. Mind you, this was higher than 24-year-old Goku and Piccolo's base power levels combined when they fought against Raditz. So just like Gohan, Broly's true powers erupt when he's angry. But the problem is, he goes out of control and loses his sense of self. That's why his father Paragus had an electric discharger around his neck. But that soon became useless when the mutant broke it whilst becoming even more angrier, going into the Akairi state. Now, unlike Gohan, Broly loves a good fight and wastes no time challenging Vegeta and Goku when he lands on Earth. We can see his growth in the Broly movie, where the mutant was already at base Vegeta's level when the two began to fight. But as the battle unfolds, Broly's overall prowess kept increasing at insane levels. When Vegeta went Super Saiyan, one punch to the cheek sent Broly flying back, but he comes back even stronger, where now he was
Broly's whole shtick is the fact that he is what the Saiyan potential should be. Um, so everything that is Goku and Vegeta is like times 10 for Broly. So the adaptability in a fight is going to be multiplied by 10 by times 10 because he's going to literally figure you out and continue to adjust to where you are on a scale of power, which is why he's so dangerous, but is also why his power is completely out of control, is because he doesn't know how to rein that in. So, and this was never handled properly, aside from torture. So that's making it even more unstable. So this is why he's having so much trouble now. But that's basically the whole premise of Broly's existence is what if we turned all of the Saiyan abilities on the dial all the way up to 11 and then we just release this animal on the fucking world type shit. So that's pretty much how Broly's power works. Um and that's why I said it's kind of the opposite of Gohan in a way. They're both operating at the ceiling of losing control, but Gohan brought himself to that level where Broly's already there. He's at that level. He has to be able to manage staying under that level, is essentially the difference between their powers.
was able to withstand a similar punch by Vegeta, who begins pushing him backwards. At this moment, base Broly equals base Vegeta times 50. The prince was forced to turn Super Saiyan God, but even that couldn't kill Broly off as he rose from the ocean and turned into his Akairi state, which then obliterated God Vegeta. During this whole process, Broly studied Vegeta's moves, techniques, and speed, incorporating them as his own. Just
Yep.
like with Goku's Godbind. Goku in
Literally,
Super
as
Saiyan
I
Blue
said.
was stronger than Akairi Broly, but Paragus' death pushed him into unlocking a green variant of Super Saiyan. This version matches with Kale, which Kaba and Caulifla stated to be the demonic Saiyan that appears once every 1,000 years.
Yeah, this is why I thought it was interesting that they look at it as a demonic thing, a bad thing, whereas we look at it as like this thing to be idolized.
So Broly's Super Saiyan is more than the 50 times multiplier, which explains why he is able to surpass Super Saiyan Blue Goku and Golden Frieza. Mind you, nothing can be more satisfying than seeing Frieza being whooped. Base Gogeta is stronger than Goku, but he was forced to go Super Saiyan and Blue after Broly unleashed his full power. So basically, in a span of 2 hours, Broly increased his power by at least 1,250,000 times.
Yeah, what did I say? What did I say? He's everything that a Saiyan is if you turned it all the way up to 11 and you just times 10 that shit.
Coming on par with Super Saiyan Gogeta, Frieza looked at his power and stated no being in existence could defeat him in a fight. At that point in time, Broly was confirmed to be much stronger than Jiren or any of the fighters from the Tournament of Power. He was the strongest Goku has faced so far, and
I don't know about that.
his destructive power could rival that of a god of destruction's Hakai. Vegeta explains later in chapter 93 that he was unable to deal with Broly because he could instinctively conserve his energy and preserve stamina by using his power only at the moment of attack. However, the duo have gotten significantly stronger since the
Which is interesting that he is able to do that while also losing full control of himself.
movie, where Vegeta with just his Super Saiyan form can now no diff a base Broly. So the duo are much more stronger.
Also, we need to talk about that because if you're not up to date on the manga, there is a point where there's a Saiyan showdown and it's the Saiyans just crashing out. And my God, if they fuck that up, I don't know. Probably just gonna make a really fucking nasty video aimed at Toei if they fuck that up. That is the one episode they have to nail down perfectly.
Than you think. For example, Goku and Vegeta were already
I need times 10 mappa levels of animation on that episode.
more powerful than Broly at the start of the Granola arc. And when they asked Whis who is the most powerful in the universe currently, Broly wasn't even mentioned. On Beerus's planet, he is not allowed to go berserk anymore. However, at this point of the story, we can comfortably state that Broly is no match for them. This is because he isn't able to control his ever-increasing rage whilst in battle. But Goku, being the ideal sensei, brought Gohan on Beerus's world in order to show by example how he can increase his ki to the tipping point of going berserk and then controlling it. So this is clear-cut evidence that he isn't stronger than the 3 remaining Saiyans on the list. For example, in his spar against base Gohan, he couldn't catch him at all, and when Beast Mode appeared, he was overwhelmed. However, even after controlling his Super Saiyan form, Gohan tossed him like a freaking toy. They were fighting for quite a while.
Well, yeah, because you're asking Broly to essentially nerf himself because his whole thing is letting out at once and just fucking going crazy. So asking him to hone it in and then putting him up against an opponent like this is gonna basically just make it impossible for him to keep up.
While evident through Gotenks' fusion wearing off that requires 30 minutes. So there is merit where Broly was never knocked out against Beast Gohan, implying he has huge potential to become the strongest, as Broly will eventually gain his own transformation, confirmed in the very same chapter. Therefore, at this point of time, Broly scales higher than what we have seen in Jiren, Moro, and maybe even Cell Max, but he is below Granola. As we must keep in mind, Gohan got even stronger after defeating Cell Max, as he trained with Piccolo to upgrade his beast form. But knowing that Goku can still keep up with this version of his son, it ended the debate whether or not the duo could have killed Cell Max in one blast, just as Gohan did. But speaking of a beast, here he is. Gohan was amongst the strongest in the universe after the Moro arc, but slacked on his training to the point where even Piccolo was pissed in the superhero arc. However, during his fight with Cell Max, powering up to beast mode made him match the levels of gods, much to Beerus's anger. But ABD, isn't Beast an ass pull? Well, when a 4-year-old Gohan surpassed Goku and Piccolo combined against Raditz without any training whatsoever, you start to get the picture. However, there's an important piece of information here. Gohan dropped to power level 1. That means his snap has the potential to multiply his power level by at least 1,307 times. And if you add his training to the equation, that that power might multiply thousands of times over, just as we saw Broly did in the movie. In Dragon Ball Super, we witnessed Gohan training in the gravity chamber during the Black Arc, and again before the Tournament of Power, and again in the Moro Arc. During this time, he went from Super Saiyan 2 to Super Saiyan God. Ultimate Gohan was on par with Super Saiyan Kefla, one of the strongest Dragon Ball characters in the ring as told by Vados. But keep in mind that manga Kefla
There really wasn't that many people who were strong though. Like if you're really breaking down who fighters in the Tournament of Power were, there were pretty much none that were on the par of our team as like our top fighters on our team and somebody like a Dispo or a Jiren or a Topo. Hardly any. And most of them, their best ability was to combine to become something that was better than it was. You know, like a hit. N- They were decent. Fucking Kaba, Khalifa, and Kale pretty much had no trouble against most people so long as they knew how to beat them.
is much weaker than her anime counterpart. Piccolo states that Gohan was able to only draw his fighting spirit in their few hours of training, but he became stronger than ever during this fight. If you recall, Gohan was struggling against the trio of danger, each of whom is weaker than Frost. With Kefla, however, Gohan unleashed the monstrous power within and boosted his power to a level somewhere between Tournament of Power Super Saiyan God to Blue Goku. And then Gohan grew significantly stronger after the Moro Arc 2-month time jump. Goku stated that he could barely recognize him, and the last time he saw him was at the tournament. Gohan became enraged when he saw Goku in a bloodied state in the fight against Moro and got a temporary boost. In fact, Piccolo remarked that he's the
This is what I was talking about when I say that like pre-training Gohan could never keep the boost that he got seeing something traumatic like this. It was only until he started training when his level would still go down, but it would still like maintain higher than it was before that thing happened.
strongest Dragon Ball team member on Earth when the Saiyan duo aren't around. So at the very least, Beast Gohan was at least a 1307 times multiplier, similar to the other snapping moments his character had in other parts of the story, such as against Frieza, Raditz, Cell, and more. His power increased several fold, from being weaker than the Gammas to stronger than Broly and matching up against his father. Then you have to add Piccolo's training with him after Cell Max. However, as I mentioned before, his training with Piccolo made his beast form even stronger, making him capable of becoming Earth's mightiest hero, which Goku is confident of. Gohan stated that he would evolve as an individual, then take Goku over Vegeta's methods. Whis later confirms that he has indeed fulfilled his claim.
Yeah, I think that's most people's this is kind of most people's theory is that Gohan is taking the human route, Broly is Saiyan route, and then we have Vegeta who has gone more of the destruction route, and then we have Goku who has gone the more ultra instinct route. I don't know what you call that, the angel route, I guess.
He's happy that Gohan caught up in no time flat and he can leave Earth's threats to his son, which is exactly what the chapter title means, passing the torch of responsibility.
This is also what I'm saying when I say I don't want to see any more weak fucking Gohan bullshit. We got his breakout form. If it's weak tracksuit Gohan again, I'm just gonna fucking write off Toei as like one of the worst studios of all time.
Responsibilities from father to son. Oh my god, so emotional.
It's enough to make a grown man cry.
Now, Beerus is pissed to witness this, as Gohan matched divine techniques. In chapter 71, when handing Vegeta an earring and being prideful that he could now use Ultra Ego, he states, prove that the
What? He was not able to use Ultra Ego at this time. He was able to use destruction at this time.
Gods of Destruction's signature move is stronger than the Angel techniques. But here comes Gohan with a mortal power that matches the duo they have been training this entire time. Now in the spar against Ultra Instinct Goku, we see proof that out of all the Saiyans,
To be fair, fucking Beerus better not be pissed because of where our mortal level is compared to the other fucking universes. He better hope we have a Gohan and a Piccolo around. Otherwise, we're fucked.
Gohan has the most raw power.
Keep in mind, there is still 4 universes that we have not even touched yet. They weren't involved in the Tournament of Power. Mortal level was too high.
Output of them all. His ki alone spread across the entire universe to be sensed by them, and one punch sent Goku flying across the entire planet despite it being blocked. They later even create large gusts of wind and craters all over the planet.
This was a really nice few panels here because it showed you that Ultra Instinct is also not unbeatable, because there was points where Goku did dodge perfectly every time on instinct, but then there was also points where Gohan's speed was overwhelming Goku's ability to dodge. So it shows that even with improvement, Ultra Instinct is still something that needs constant, it needs to be constantly improved upon, or otherwise you're just going to end up losing again anyway.
But it's not only that. Once Gohan finally landed an attack, his strength knocked the Ultra Instinct out of his father. But, and this is a big but, he comes up short in other
Yeah, I mean, this is not something that Goku was taking seriously, let's be honest here.
categories compared to Goku and Vegeta. It has
It's clearly written with the context in the manga that they're clearly just fucking around.
been confirmed that his lack of battle experience is what lets him down, as his spar with Ultra Instinct would have amounted to a battle of attrition, where he could eventually lose, as noted by Vegeta. Goku later admits it wasn't about winning, but testing the strength of his son's new form. After all, Goku clearly has the best speed feats out of all the Saiyans, and Ultra Instinct allows him to win that category. Even when Gohan used his full power and started focusing, Vegeta commented how fast he became. Yet Goku was still able to dodge every single blow except for one. Plus, it's proven Goku's faster than Gohan when he blitzed the beast mode and smacked him in the ass. This is despite Goku still harnessing this technique to make it his own. The Saiyan version has way more potential than the angels that he's currently using. Goku is training to include emotions with Ultra Instinct, which allowed him to even surpass Gas, the strongest in the universe, for a moment of time. Later, we see Vegeta in his Super Saiyan.
Yeah, this arc, this fucking granola arc was insane because they were just tossing around strongest in the universe like it was a fucking piece of popcorn, bro. It was crazy. Oh man, that was an intense arc to read, and then I watched was it Carthu's Dojo, I think, that did the manga, like they read through the manga, kind of gave like quick little reactions to different things, and it was fun to watch. But it was kind of nuts to see like how quickly it just changed from person to person to person.
Blue bouting with Beast in the mini battle royale, which showcases that Gohan ain't the strongest just yet, bringing the Prince next on the list. Like, we joke around about Vegeta's L's after meeting Goku, but
I also want to say this. From the time that Vegeta is introduced, Vegeta has a better fighting record than Goku. Just saying.
he made that into his own power now. It's called Ultra Ego, and he's diverted from the path of absolute strength that Goku was on. The moment we can pinpoint this change in attitude was after achieving Super Saiyan 2. It wasn't a problem after training under 400 times Earth's gravity for 7 years, but finding that killer mode was. So he let Babidi control him to the point in order to awaken the evil in his heart. He challenged Goku to an even match and blew himself up after trying to kill Fat Boo. He was still no match for the likes of Kid Buu, Beerus, Fuse Zamasu, and Jiren, and always stood by watching Kakarot surpass him. But then he realized his crucial problem. He was following whatever Kakarot was doing and replicated it. However, ladies and gentlemen,
That's a lie. That's 100% a lie. Uh, he did copy Goku in some aspects. 99% of Vegeta's training has always been physical and absolutely ball-busting training. The one thing he never did was deal with, one, his mind, and this is literally the whole point of the everything beyond what you have seen in the anime is Vegeta's whole fucking thing throughout the next few arcs. And even in Daima currently they are kind of hinting at that a little bit. Um but obviously they're not going to go full blown with it cuz it'll completely break the timeline. But in the following arcs post anime ending for Dragon Ball Super, that has been basically Vegeta's whole thing is dealing with his mind and also dealing with the fact that you can't just continue to break down your body expecting to get stronger. There's other ways that you have to approach gaining strength, and that's when the whole different like path to power and like settling your mind and different things it came about.
that all changed in the Tournament of Power. Vegeta was deemed second best in Universe 7 by Toppo, and that enraged him. He wants to be on top of the pecking order, and always desired to be. The only difference between now and his Saiyan Saga persona is Vegeta aims to do it in a more good-natured fashion. Contrary to his rival, Vegeta aims to get stronger by rejecting Ultra Instinct. This was highlighted in chapter 51, where the Saiyan Prince left without warning to planet Yardrat, where he trained to fine-tune his chi. Paibara stated that
Well, he was also just pissed off because he keeps losing to hacks. And I seriously don't blame him. That shit would piss me off too.
Vegeta's spirit is less stable than Goku of that time, and even he took 150 days of meditation to polish his spirit enough to learn the basics of Yardrat techniques, which includes instant transmission. However, the prince proved to be more skillful, as he enhanced his ki control better than ever. Even he couldn't believe how busted he can get. Look, just look at this page. Look at the panel. He's shocked. Paibara explains that before this training, the balance between body and spirit was unstable, which is basically the same thing Vegeta emphasized in chapter 93. But now, he could channel and eject more ki he never knew he had, without even consciously thinking about it. As Paibara confirms, he has indeed grown by leaps and bounds. Vegeta even learned instant transmission, the basic technique.
Well, he only learned it for like that quick second. I mean, he's probably going to touch on this, but yeah, he only learned it for that quick second because immediately afterwards he states that he'll probably use it again because he did it out of desperation rather than actually learning the technique.
Of the Yardrats, but later explains he doesn't want to master it since he is going on a different route from Goku. At this point of the story, Vegeta's power boost allows him to perform better than Ultra Instinct Sign based on his performance against Model, as even Goku states he will surpass him again soon, implying Vegeta was stronger. But it's not only that, Vegeta gains a unique ability called Force Spirit Fission, which allows him to undo fusions. He uses this technique to strip Moro of all of the energy that he stole and return it to its rightful owner.
Which is so fucking hacks. That's insane. That you just fucking punch him one time and then you could split Go Tanks in half and they'll be the two crazy.
Vegeta told Piccolo that he could even undo the 2 previous Namekian fusions he has gone through, which means any future opponent that has a fusion against the prince, they would be in a lot of trouble. This technique can be seen as the opposite of the spirit bomb.
Yeah, when they pull that out for the first time, it'll be absolutely crazy.
As Goku's technique combines energy from various life forms, whilst Force Spirit Fission does the opposite, separating energy from a single target. Yet again, the story is creating a distinction between the Saiyans based on techniques they possess.
There is a point that I want to bring up, but I'm going to wait and see if he touches it first.
However, Vegeta's training in that department ain't even done, as Elder Paibara hinted at better techniques for advanced users, and the prince isn't there just yet. However, there's a slight problem. During the moral arc, Goku went through his own training with
Okay, I don't think he's going to touch on it, but also in this arc there comes a moment where Vegeta is also able to energy back in towards him the same way that like he would pull it out. So I don't know if he's gonna touch on this or not, but this is something that is done in the manga. It needs to be brought up because Spirit Fission works both ways.
Miras, and the fruits of its labor was proven when Silverhead Ultra Instinct surpassed
Dude, this is one of those arcs, man, that it's gonna be tough to be a Goku fan because oh man, he got fucked up.
Vegeta yet again, and the key avatar
I
state
actually
made the
sort of
gap
felt bad for
even
him.
wider. That's when Vegeta said enough was enough, thinking maybe I need to use my L's to my advantage now. How does a form sound where you get stronger the more your ass gets whooped? Like, look at this collage, he has over 200 moments of fails. So of course, this moves us towards Ultra Ego. Vegeta embodied the Saiyan's nature to destroy, where the Ultra Ego's key is of the same nature as a destroyer god's, whose power is driven solely on instinct, destruction, or Hakai. In fact, did you know Broly, Gohan, Goku, and Vegeta at this point of the video actually scale higher than most God of Destruction? Why? Well, in the manga, during a battle royale, the God of Destruction for Universe 1 stated Goku and Toppo's battle had already reached their level. This means at that point of time,
I think you're taking that statement too literally because it's clearly shown when they do in the manga they do a short little battle royale sort of thing with the gods of destruction that they're clearly still outclassed because the gods of destruction are fucking ridiculous. Um, all of them, and I mean all of them. Now I'm not gonna say it's for sure because it hasn't been alluded to anymore since that point of how strong the god of destruction are. I know for a fact Beerus is still not one to be trifled with. Um, but these god of destruction, they're ridiculous.
when the Saiyans were much weaker than they are now, had already reached low God of Destruction level. I mean, we also have to consider that UI, Omen, Goku, and Vegeta with Yadra training are stronger than Jiren, who has been consistently placed in the storytelling within the God of Destruction tier and sometimes higher. However, this conversation of course excludes Beerus. As you know, he kinda did say it would take a million years to be compared to him whilst fighting a mastered blue Vegeta, where he could be a candidate for another universe instead. Furthermore, chapter 101 referred back to Black Frieza surpassing the Saiyans. Beerus claims there will always be someone stronger than you, stating that all of them need to keep training as they have not reached his power level. Once Goku is, he will nominate him as the next God of Destruction, proving for a fact that Beerus may be one of the strongest out of all universes.
Yeah, they did pretty good job in the manga of making that apparent during the little god of destruction battle royale because they were all hard teaming on Beerus and hold his own for a good minute and still did not even fall one time.
We then fast forward to Ultra Ego, which rivals Instinct. The more Vegeta's fighting spirit burns, the stronger he becomes. He was so overpowered that he stood tall.
It is important to note that this is probably not the final form of Ultra Instinct or Ultra Ego because it is his first initial. He will probably go through multiple stages as he settles his mind and continues to train his outlook and mentality, it will definitely probably change his form as well.
by enduring a full-powered Granola's attack to his vitals, whilst Ultra Instinct Goku was completely KO'd by a partially powered Granola clone. Now you can argue that Jiren stated attacks that exploit openings are not true strength, as Goku later on does tank the same attack by moving his vital points fast enough. However, the fact that Vegeta takes it head on without getting knocked out just proves he has the strongest defensive capabilities out of every Saiyan.
I mean, we've known this. That's what the whole Kid Buu fucking situation, the holy shit out of him. That was pretty telling sign that, they're built different.
Including Goku. Granola had asked the Dragon Balls to make him the strongest in the universe, so this far surpasses the likes of everyone else at this point of the story. But more impressively, in his evolved ego state, Vegeta was momentarily able to go toe-to-toe with Gas in chapter 85, stating that this form is still evolving. I mean, look at this panel. He's destroying Granola's barrier, piercing through it to smash his face.
Dude, that shotgun drop kick, fucking legendary.
Where later on, he was stronger than Goku for a small fraction of time, even triggering Gas's PTSD, whose wish superseded Granola's.
I'm pretty sure Vegeta crashed out. He crashed out like 2 or 3 different times in this just this arc. Ego crashed out 3 fucking times.
Making him even stronger than his previous opponent. But there is a huge downside. Since he has to take damage to get stronger, there is a limit to how much Vegeta can take. Even he admitted this, and his vision became blurry.
Yeah, that's simply because Vegeta took way too much damage unnecessarily. But obviously, he's still trying to figure out this form to be a little bit different. But this is one of those things where, as it progresses, he will probably change form again, and it won't be this initial Ultra Ego. It'll be some other Ultra Ego that's a little bit more evolved as he learns to handle it better.
Which means he's equal to Goku for the most part, but most likely in a battle of attrition, he could tank enough of Beast Gohan's attacks to eventually win in a fight, as that's what the form is literally built for. And let's not forget, there are still many ways for Vegeta to increase his strength. One way of increasing durability would be to shroud himself in destruction energy, just like Toppo or Beerus. Secondly, his mental training, which is still ongoing with the other Saiyans. Thirdly, perfecting Yadra advanced techniques, which was given as an option to him. I mean, we know
Yeah, because he's never really trained in such a way to enhance other aspects of himself. Just purely strength is the only training Vegeta done. So it'll definitely be super interesting to see what becomes of his new abilities.
Vegeta is in a similar position to Goku. Ultra Ego is still in its infancy, as he needs to make it his own.
Yeah, it's like it's like Goku's Ultra Instinct sign is essentially what this is for Vegeta. Um, and it's pretty much at the point to where Goku is trying to find the combination of the angelic state of Ultra Instinct and Ultra Instinct Sign, because Sign allows him to use emotion. The Angel technique does not. So he's trying to bridge that gap. He's trying to find that middle ground. That is what's going to give Goku his ultimate transformation. And it's going to be the same thing with Vegeta as far as finding that link to his past that made him such a ruthless and unstoppable warrior, and also kind of bridging this new kind of softer side of Vegeta that has taken root, and he's got to be able to find a true version of himself to become, one individual essentially, rather than splitting himself off and one side of him taking control at a time.
Just like his rival who is making a Saiyan version of Instinct. However, recently, Whis told them to spar, not to use any forms, techniques, and range
Yep, straight hands.
attacks, with Vegeta concluding as the winner in the superhero arc. With its conclusion, current Vegeta would eclipse all the opponents we have seen thus far, except for Black Frieza. He wouldn't even have to try against Broly, Moro would be a joke, and Granola or Gohan will put up a good challenge, as they have both been confirmed to lack experience. This is a similar
Yeah, that's pretty much what Vegeta called out Granola on because Granola was actually somewhat struggling. I mean, eventually Granola did land some strikes. Obviously, the tide turned, but his lack of battle experience, even though he was the strongest in the universe at the time, he couldn't use his power. So it essentially made it mute for a little bit until Granola got used to it.
phenomena that occurred when Goku states the same thing against Gas, where his experience on how to use his borrowed techniques better than their owners was extremely lacking. However,
True.
what puts the main protagonist over his rival? Goku. Well, Goku has the key avatar state, which has helped the gang take out two opponents Vegeta could not. Goku was a bit stronger than him in his own Ultra Instinct state, and legit threw Gas into space in the Avatar form. A form which Goku didn't even use in the battle against Gohan Beast, so even that conclusion doesn't count. Can Vegeta use Hakai to destroy Goku? Not until Goku can beat him to it with his own version of that technique, like the one he used against Zamasu and Moro. Sure, it's incomplete, but he's still faster than Vegeta.
You're smoking crack. Stop.
Right from Dragon Ball, we see the seeds of Ultra Instinct sown through training with Popo and Kami, and then ripened with the help of Whis and Miras. Namek Saga Goku used Rage as the foundation for his power, but in the Tournament of Power, he realized the very same feeling hindered his Ultra Instinct. Goku's core is different, matching more towards the angels. This is proved by the fact that he has no desire to be the next god of destruction. Beerus once said that a warrior's power becomes boundless when he taps into his instincts, and that holds true for all the Saiyans. But what sets Goku apart is he fights in order to get stronger, whereas the others just want to win. This is confirmed by Vegeta in his #1 speech, acknowledging Kakarot as the best
It is confirmed again in the manga when they're doing their final face-off with Gas.
Saiyan in existence. Goku first used UI against Jiren, but later couldn't get his body to match its pressure. The silver-haired form is Goku's strongest form, as confirmed by Beerus in chapter 102, but Whis affirms in chapter 71 that it should only be used as a last resort. That's because that form doesn't let Goku use his core emotions that build up his identity, and so he has to strain his brain harder to consciously negate even that in order to maintain the form, thereby losing a lot of his stamina. Whis laid out his path to power, that he needs to use the technique in his own way 24/7, and so far it's going good. He defeated Moro by unleashing his true spiritual state and used all sorts of chaotic tactics in conjunction with Ultra Instinct Sign to keep up with Gas. Whis narrates in the anime that as Goku fought Jiren, he dispelled all unnecessary thoughts that clouded his focus, from thinking about his entire universe to narrowing his thoughts down to him, his opponent, and the fight. Goku realized what he needed to do back then, but couldn't fathom the energy to maintain it. That tells me he's going to control his heart and body in such a way that only his core emotions remain intact whilst using Ultra Instinct in base form. Overall, Goku is the fastest out of all the Saiyans and loses in only one category against the others. Gohan has more raw power, Broly has more stamina, Vegeta has more defense. However, if we compare each and every stat, Goku is equal, if not higher than them in all categories of overall strength. every feat of power we have discussed thus far in the video could also be achieved by Goku if not more. However, if you throw in fusion at that, Gogeta will be powered up by Ultra Instinct and Ultra Ego. Could they probably defeat Beerus? That's right, even at this point, Beerus is still better. To see how he is built different and why that is the case, watch the video on your screen right now.
That was pretty good. That was a pretty good video. There are some points where I disagree with him, but there's other points where I do agree. Uh, yeah, definitely pretty good. Anime Balls Deep, go check him out. Give him a subscribe, give him a like. Yeah, that's pretty good. I'll probably react to some of his more stuff at some point, but that is going to be it for this video. So, make sure you subscribe to me, and most importantly, make sure you subscribe to yourself. Self-love is important these days. So, other than that, I am out of here. I got other shit I gotta do, because we're a little late to our recording session this week. So, much love and peace. I'll catch y'all later.